All right, let's talk about some critical tax changes coming in 2025, especially for U.S. seniors with any kind of international ties. If you've retired abroad or you just have some foreign accounts or maybe inherited assets from overseas, the rules are shifting. And honestly, what you don't know here can be really, really expensive. So, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to break this down into 6 parts. We'll start with a major new tax break, then dive into the 2 big reporting rules, FBAR and FATCA, that you absolutely have to know. We'll also unpack the specific assets that always seem to trip up seniors, talk about what happens if you get it wrong, and then wrap it all up with a simple checklist to get you ready for your 2026 filing. Okay, let's get right into it. The 2025 tax year is creating this kind of split reality for seniors. On one hand, you've got this fantastic new benefit coming your way. But on the other hand, the government's watch over foreign assets is as intense as it has ever been. So here's the story in a nutshell. The U.S. is handing seniors a pretty significant tax break at home, but at the exact same time, it's doubling down on its scrutiny of any money you hold abroad. You see how these 2 worlds are about to collide? It's absolutely crucial that you know how to handle both of them correctly. So let's start with the great news, right? This comes from a new law, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA. For the tax years 2025 through 2028, it gives seniors 65 and over a brand new $6,000 deduction. And the best part? It sits right on top of your existing standard deduction. So for a qualifying couple, that's an extra $12,000 in deductions. This is a huge win, but as we're about to see, it's a win you're going to have to protect. Now, for the other side of that coin, let's start with the FBAR. The very first thing you need to get straight is that this is not a tax form. It's a report. It goes to a totally different agency called the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or as you'll hear it, FinCEN. And their job is to track money offshore. So if you remember one thing, remember this. FBAR is all about disclosure, not taxes. It's part of the Bank Secrecy Act, not the IRS tax code. All it's there for is to tell the U.S. Treasury about any foreign accounts you have an interest in or signature authority over. That's it. Now, what's so fascinating is how easily seniors get caught in what we call the aggregate trap. You might look at your accounts and think, no big deal. A little money in the UK, some in an account in France, maybe a forgotten account with a small balance. Individually, they all seem way below the limit. And this is the kicker. The rule isn't about any one account. It's about their combined maximum value. The moment that total value pops over $10,000, even for just one day during the year, you have to report every single one of those accounts, no matter how small. And it doesn't stop with the aggregate trap. There are other things to watch out for. If the US dollar has a bad year, the value of your foreign accounts can shoot over that $10,000 limit without you even touching them. And pay very close attention to signature authority. If you can sign checks on your elderly mom's account in Italy, guess what? You have to report that account. It doesn't matter that it's not your money. All right, so that's FBAR. Now let's talk about its bigger, more complicated cousin, FATCA. You can think of this as the IRS's version of the FBAR, but of course it comes with its own very unique and, let's say, tricky set of rules. Okay, you have got to get this difference straight in your head. FBAR is for FinCEN, a law enforcement agency. It tracks bank accounts, and it has that one simple, low $10,000 trigger for everybody. FATCA, on the other hand, is for the IRS. It gets filed with your 1040 tax return, it tracks a way broader range of things called assets, and the filing thresholds are much, much higher. Now check this out, because this is where it gets kind of tricky with FATCA. Where you live matters a lot. If you're single and you live in the U.S., you've got to file if your foreign assets top $50,000 at the end of the year. But if you live abroad, the IRS gets that your cost of living is higher, so that threshold jumps all the way up to $200,000. See? It's a massive difference. And here's the thing. FATCA's definition of assets is incredibly broad. We're not just talking about bank accounts here. It can be stuff you might not even think of, like stock certificates tucked away in a safe deposit box, or your interest in a foreign business, or investments in foreign funds. These are all things that might not trigger an FBAR, but they absolutely count for FATCA. Okay, so this leads us right into the specific things that trip up seniors the most. And let's start with one of the biggest headaches of all, foreign pensions. Yeah, pensions can be a real minefield, so you have to know the difference. The general rule is if you have a private pension, where the money is basically in an account with your name on it, think a UK SIP or a Canadian RRSP, that's reportable. But thankfully, government-run Social Security programs are usually exempt from being reported on these forms. And it's not just pensions you gotta watch out for. A lot of seniors have old foreign life insurance policies. Well, if that policy has a cash surrender value, it's considered a financial account, and you gotta report it. And listen, when it comes to inheriting a foreign account, it's not just about the money. The moment you inherit it, boom, that reporting duty is now yours for that year. And look at this, it's like a domino effect. If you're lucky enough to inherit more than $100,000 from a foreign estate, you could be staring down a triple header of paperwork. You might have to file a Form 3520 to report the gift, an FBAR for the account itself, and maybe even a Form 8938 if it pushes your total foreign assets over the limit. It's a lot to handle. So with all these complicated rules, what happens if you get it wrong? Well, as you can probably guess, ignoring this stuff can be, well, financially devastating. The penalties for 2025 are no joke. A single non-willful violation, and that just means you honestly didn't know you had to file, can cost you over $16,000. Think about that. One mistake would wipe out your new $6,000 tax break for almost 3 years. And if they decide you knew you were supposed to file and didn't, the penalty can be over $165,000 or half the money in your account, whichever is more. But look, there is a silver lining here. In a huge case called Bittner, the Supreme Court sided with taxpayers. They basically said, whoa, let's be reasonable. For those non-willful, honest mistakes, the penalty is now applied per year you didn't file, not per account. This was a massive relief for folks with multiple small accounts who were facing just catastrophic fines. So, the really good news is there are safe, established amnesty programs to help you come clean. The streamlined procedures are perfect if you are unintentionally non-compliant. So the most important point here is to use these official programs. Whatever you do, do not just start filing this year and hope the IRS doesn't notice the past. That's a quiet disclosure, and trust me, it can get you into a world of trouble. So after all that, what's the big takeaway? Let's boil it all down into a simple game plan. A checklist you can use to get ready for the 2026 filing season when you're doing your 2025 taxes. Just follow these 4 steps. First up, make a complete list of every single foreign asset you own or have control over. Next, find the highest value each one hit during 2025 and convert it to US dollars using the official Treasury rate from December 31st. Then add it all up and see if you cross those FBAR or FATCA lines. And finally, put April 15th on your calendar, but remember, you have an automatic extension to October 15th if you end up needing it. At the end of the day, that new $6,000 tax break is a fantastic benefit for seniors, but a single penalty for an accidental FBAR mistake could wipe out that benefit for more than 2 years. The stakes are just higher than they've ever been. So the question I'll leave you with is this: are you prepared to protect it?